is that our mind is just kind of programmed to problem solve for y'all. So if I come home and I lay all this out on y'all are emotional typically, right? So y'all gonna be stressing. Y'all gonna be worried about things.
Now y'all worried.
Now I gotta snap into, okay, how can I make her feel better about her reaction to my issue?
Right. So now you gotta worry about that. Everything else you got to worry about.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I understand.
So how do you handle a woman who's just like, no, I'm your partner, and being soft and providing that rub your back energy is just not what I want to do. Like, I want you to talk to me so that we can figure things out together. Like, how do men handle that? I would
point out the keywords I want. That doesn't work for me, even though it's my issues that we dealing with, right? We got to understand. And it's another thing women gotta learn, right? What you consider value may not be what he considers value. And that's the part about being in a relationship if you want it to last. Right? Yeah. Now you can bump your head and up against the wall or doing what you want to do and the relationship won't crash and burn. But it's about figuring out how can I provide value to him or vice versa. And the only way that I can do that is to understand what they consider being value. Yeah. But a lot of times we don't do that. We feel like I want to solve it my way because if I was in that position, this is what I would want.
Right. Yes.
But you are not me and I'm not you. Yeah. So I need you to understand that, or we could just go our separate ways.
Yeah, the crazy thing about relationships is a lot of us go into them with the I mentality.
Sure.
And relationships are really about the we mentality and taking yourself out of the I and like, how can I show up and be the person that this person needs, right? Like, obviously we have the baseline, the foundations, compatibility, connection, chemistry, all that stuff, understanding we're equally yoked in terms of values and morals and things like that. But once you've established that, it's also about like you have your needs, you communicate your needs and your expectations that your partner is going to help meet you halfway on those. And you got to do the same in return for your partner. And more often than not, we approach it from, how would I want somebody to be there for me? How would I want someone to support me? Right. But that might be very different from what your partner actually needs.
Facts. So, and I think that's what like a lot of older couples end up realizing over time. You know, I used to talk to my grandpa a lot, and he'd be like, you know, I'd be asking him like, man, y'all married 46 years. How did that happen? He say eventually, man, you just get to a point to where you accept them for who they are. Yeah. They're not going to change. I shouldn't try to change you. That person is who they is, especially by the time y'all get together, right? Life is kind of programmed them to be a way. Now, there's certain things that on the exterior that can be tweaked, but from a foundational perspective, they are who they are. So me trying to change you is just going to be me bumping my head up against a brick wall. I need to make adaptations on my end to kind of make space for you to be you. And if I don't like who you being you is, I need to remove myself from the situation.
Well, that's what the conversation is now on the internet, because Michelle Obama, our esteemed forever First Lady, has just put out a book. And in the book, she talked about, you know, her and Barack's history, right? And the fact that she didn't like him essentially for 10 years.
He chased her, by the way.
He did chase her. And she didn't like him for a very long time in their relationship. And so she talked about and she said that to just give encouragement to young people to stay together, because nowadays, like at the first sign of like difference or an conflict, people are just, mostly women are making the decision to just like to jump ship and leave the relationship. And so I think I can see both sides of it. Like, obviously you want a long sustained relationship, but that shit is hard as fuck.
Sure.
And as you talk about like women who are successful and independent and able to provide for themselves and their children and, you know, live their best lives, like, I just don't think the pressure is there for them to stay in relationships as long as they did in the past. But I also do see the benefit of having like a long, fulfilling, sustaining relationship. But it's just, relationships are just not easy.
Sure.
And even though we can talk about meeting each other in the middle, providing value, giving the person, there's still going to be conflict in the relationship that will have to be worked through. So to your grandfather's point, just allowing and accepting a person to be who they are. I think that's key in the relationship, because again, you can't change a person at their core because they are who they are. But I think that when people get married, you look at who a person is outside of their faults and make a decision based on who they are at the core.
True.
And what you saw, right? Like they're a good person, you know, they have whatever issues, because we all have issues, but at their heart, they are a good person. Like they were not going to do anybody wrong. They don't lie. You know, it's just, you look at those kind of attributes when you make a decision about who you want to marry. And so I think that's important to keep in mind as you are in the relationship, because it's going to be difficult. It's going to be a difficult road, especially if you're trying to make it to like 50, 60.
Yeah, I agree. I think the main issue a lot of times with marriage and relationships in general, a lot of times we move so fast and try to dive into these things before we really know who the real you is.
Yes.
So a lot of
just had
times,
this conversation.
Yeah, like I'm finding out who the real you is when we already married 2-3 years in. So now it's like, I don't like this person. You know what I'm saying? But you did so good of a job of acting, and don't get me wrong, I enabled it because a lot of times people are scared to have hard conversations.
Yes.
Right. I don't want to make you uncomfortable. I don't want to say something that might make you mad, whatever the case may be. So I'm gonna just tuck my issues, and with that, you allow each other to continue to act all the way down the aisle, all the way 2-3 years in, all the way having kids and all of that, and then eventually one day they decide to hang up the acting title, and the real them comes out, and then I don't like this real you, so now I'm ready to go. But if you'd have vetted properly and had those hard conversations early, you would have knew exactly what you were signing up for.
Was he my marriage child?
Uncomfortable.
That's true. Because I just remember like when I back in the day when I was like, it was like an itch to get married, right? Like it was just like, I want to get married. Like the married piece was just very prevalent. I think for a lot of women.
It was a badge of honor.
It was.
Sound about right.
It was a badge of honor. Like it's, I want to be married. I want to, it's time to get married. Like I want to be, what do you call it?
Somebody's
honest woman.
Honest woman.
Honest woman. Whatever the hell that means, child.
And competition.
Exactly.
That sounds boring.
You know what I mean? But I do think a lot of people rush into it. But I do also think that you can see based off of what your preferences are, like the things that are important to you. I still think you can identify kind of who a person is if you have just spent, I'm not gonna say a short time, but a period of time with them. Right. And I just think that those things are going to be the things that should sustain the relationship, obviously, when things go left. But I think that it's hard to perpetrate for so long until you end up marrying a person. Like how long can you like fake to be something that you're absolutely not? Like the real you's gonna come out.
No, but you can. This is two things. One you said in terms of like you should be able to identify what it is that I value in this person or what I like in this person. But how can you do that if you don't really know who you are either?
There you go.
So everybody playing games.
These nuggets are truth. They're nuggets.
It's honest.
Go. It's about healing. Heal yourself.
It's about healing. It's about self-discovery, knowing yourself.
Knowing yourself. Yes.
And you got to do it on your terms. Most people jump into the relationship and let them people define what it is that they like instead of taking that time. Now, I'm gonna just be by myself for a minute.
Right.
And I'm gonna figure out what it is that I want, what it is that I value, what it is that I like, not what my parents value, not what my auntie's marriage or my grandfather's marriage, what they value. What do I value? And once you figure that out, then it becomes a lot easier to identify, like you just said, okay, what it is in this person that I actually like and what I actually value. But if you don't know that, you ain't got a chance.
And that take a while because, again, go back to the programming. You young, you trying to experience life. You doing so many things for other people. Your mom was maybe an engineer or something like that. You going to school because that's what she did. You know, you trying to fulfill roles for other people and acting like someone else. And it's like at the end of the day, you got to make yourself happy.
That's true.
So.
The beautiful thing about a marriage, man, is you get to create your own blueprint for it.
You do.
But a lot of people waste so much time trying to live their marriage like somebody else's marriage. And that's what gets you into trouble because you don't understand the dynamics of that relationship. Y'all are two unique individuals. Y'all got different interests. Y'all got different likes, different preferences. So if you try to model yours after theirs, the marriage failed before it even began.
Right.
And that's what a lot of people run into issues at. So
that is so true.
Okay. A man that really loves you ain't playing about you. So we have a lot of listeners that are female, that are either in the space of their wives or their aspiring wives or their ex-wives or their girlfriends who want whatever. Help our female listeners understand what that really looks like. So when a man's not playing behind you, what does that look like?
That means that I am about you. Mm-hmm. And I mean that in every sense of the word. I'm going to protect you from even you sometimes. Because a lot of times women have, big hearts and stuff, and they kind of, give their access, going back to what we talked about earlier, to people that they shouldn't, family included, friends included, things of that nature. So I got to step in and protect you because you are a part of me. We both invested in what it is that we building, right? So I got to look out for you in every aspect of the word, make sure that you good, make sure that I'm 100% supporting everything that you want to do, your ambitions, your dreams. And this is another thing I think kind of gets thrown to the back burner. A lot of men feel like that it's your job to support what I want to do, support my ambition, support my dreams. But as a man, you got to understand, like, to make sure that like y'all said earlier, the quality of the household is where it need to be. Your woman got to be fulfilled as well.
Yes. So
you may want to pursue something, and I may not even agree with it for real, or not understand it. But if I see that you passionate about it, I'm gonna ride with you. I'm gonna do the research I need to do. I'm gonna do whatever in any events or graduations or promotions or whatever. I'm gonna be there front and goddamn center because I'm your biggest cheerleader. That's what being about you means.
I think that ties into what we just talked about too, about like just protecting a woman. Like I don't, if you're out, there's a certain way that you should conduct yourself.
Sure.
Like, and there's a certain way that I expect for you to conduct yourself. Right. And so I just think that I'm not playing about my woman is all of that. Like no one can approach me. I'm not playing her behind her back or in her face. I'm protecting her peace. Like I'm making sure that she is good in all facets, whether she's with me or mentally. Whether she's with me or she's not.
You said not playing about your woman? Is that what y'all said?
Yeah. That was you who said that.
I did. No, but so like with my lady, man, like I showed her I wasn't playing about her when I moved her down. She lived in Dallas. I live in Houston. And first off, I hated and never even really tried long distance relationships. I always said never. Yeah. I'm not doing it. I'm too selfish. I need you right here next to me. If I want to do something random, I got to do it because that's just how I operate.
I need to have access to you to do that.
Yeah, like just spontaneous. I miss you. Let's go get something to eat. Let's go do something. Like that's just how I naturally am. So it was very challenging for me, but because of the fact that from the rip, like she was showing that she was interested, I was like, I can't let this person go, like with our distance, there was sometimes if I'm too busy, she's like, don't worry about it. I'll come down there. I'm like, dang, okay. Like, and I mean like continuously, it was like a one gap, like a 6-7 month gap where she came way more than I went out there. And, typically it's the other way around. Right. And so when she doing that, and I kept saying like, you ain't got to do it. You don't force yourself. Don't worry about it. But she was like, no, I want to see you. I'm like, damn. Wow. So that's when I was like, okay. So once her lease was,
a good woman. She's the one.
Exactly. Once her lease was up, I was like, let's do it. Like, let's do it. Like, what we waiting on? And so for a few months, cause we had a house. It was a nice house with me and my brothers. So for like 4-5 months, I was paying 2 rents just so she could come down here and get comfortable. And I was like, I got it. Like, don't even worry about it. Like, cause I want you here. So yeah. That's how I knew I wasn't playing.
Well, you was not playing about her, baby.
At all.
Not playing about that.
And in my mind, when I was watching that reel and watching that episode, I said, like, it goes back to that whole comment that you made. Like, a man doesn't do what a man doesn't want to do. You know what I mean? Like, if he wants to, he will.
He will.
And when you're over here wondering if he does, that's a sign as a woman to be like, well,
he doesn't.
He doesn't. Period.
Yeah.
Period. If how you want him to show up is not how he's showing up, on to the next one. Or just like, maybe it's time for you to take time for yourself.
I agree. I think, a man that's interested in you, you're going to take an active role in every aspect of your life. Every single one of them. Because I need to be a part of that. I need to see how it's affecting you, because however it affects you is going to come back on me. So if I'm the leader and I'm in control of these things, I got to be able to monitor it. I got to be able to navigate. And, also just not let nobody play with your woman in terms of disrespect either. It's another thing. I'm not going for that at all. You see what I'm saying? So I think that also, as going back to the physical aspect or the just verbal, sometimes people be saying shit. I don't even like people talking too loud to my old lady. Because again, she doesn't come off that way. She's soft. She's, you know, a woman. She's feminine. You see what I'm saying? But a lot of times, especially in these spaces, and that's why I don't allow her to come in a lot of these platforms where it be debates and shit going on. Because some dudes be going crazy, be super disrespectful,
and they gonna see a whole nother side of you.
Right.
That's gonna get you out of character.
They gonna get trill. Exactly.
We don't need that.
Hold on now.
But yeah, that's what just holding you down. Like when your woman look at you, she need to feel safe in every aspect of the word. And if she doesn't, then you with the wrong dude.
As simple as that.
Simple as that.
Which is wrong with the wrong dude.
The wrong dude.
So but you just said though that there's a conversation to be had, right? You may not necessarily have those tools initially from an emotional standpoint. So I guess what is your process for men who and women, advice for women, for men who are trying to acquire those tools? So he may not necessarily have all of those attributes initially, but the goal is obviously to get him there because there's been a recognizing of some sort of value in this man, right? But he's rough around the edges. So one, like, how long should a woman wait until he has reached that point where it's comfortable for him? And then two, if she does not demand that he does kind of change in those particular areas and stays, will he just feel like he doesn't have to?
Definitely.
Okay.
You know, again, and for one, you say, how do you differentiate between a man who's effort? I may not know how to do it, but I'm going to show up every day and that's going to be my intention. And if I love you, then you're going to be able to tell, okay, he's intent about it. I just need to guide him in the right way.
That's it.
Compared to somebody who, baby, I'm showing up, I'm giving you half-ass effort. I'm negligent. I'm not, you see what I'm saying? And I don't have a intent on giving you what it is that you want. That's the type of man you should run away from.
Nigga say, I'm here, ain't I? I'm here.
Right.
Isn't that good enough?
My body is here.
Yeah. So, you know, I think that's how you differentiate but between the men is effort. But what was the second question you asked?
How long should a woman, I guess once she identifies that like it's not changing, but I guess you answered that question too, because it's all about the effort. Right. So whether or not the man is putting forth the effort, because you're right. Like a man can say, oh, well, I just don't have these attributes and I'm not willing to work on it. But then your woman can identify that even though he doesn't have it, he's at least trying and showing up. And I always say this all the time, like a relationship is two people that are willing to work on themselves. And with the moment when one person stops trying, it's done. Yeah. Like it's completely done.
It's facts.
Yeah.
It's facts. I mean, and it goes the same way with women, you know, a lot of times, because there's a lot of women who just can't cook, right? They just can't do it. But again, if she's showing the effort, she want to take the lip. Look at laughing. Zoom in on
that. Baby,
I be cooking too. I'm Jamaican. Like I be cooking. Trust me. My rice and peas
pantry is on point.
Right. Okay, and mine is too, because you came across the street with like,
you got seasoning. Bless you. You have
seasoning, pan seasoning.
Yeah. But I mean, I say that to say, effort is what's most important. Are you willing to learn? That's it. Yeah. Because know-how is some shit that we can work on, but willingness.
Oh yeah, skill versus will.
Yeah,
it's not. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, if they ain't got the will, they ain't got the willingness to please. Because that's what it like shows. It shows my willingness to please you, my willingness to make your life easier in some sort. And you either have that or you don't. That ain't nothing that can be taught. Right. You see what I'm saying?
Just willingness in actions, because willingness is like, okay, yeah, I'm going to try.
Like, I want to,
but the Lord says faith without works is dead, child. Like,
that's real.
Like, not scripture. Show action.
That's real though.
You are willing to change, but what are you doing? Show me in your actions.
Do y'all need refills or are you good?
Yeah, let me get me a little.
Okay.
All right. So hypothetically speaking, we on a date.
Okay.
We say we're going to Mastro's. Y'all not familiar with Mastro's? It's a steakhouse, very expensive place to eat. Very good food too. Make sure y'all check it out.
Very good. Very good.
Selma Fertitta.
Right. Owner. So we get there, we sit at the table.
Yeah.
The menus come out. What are you ordering?
To start off, I'm ordering the shrimp cocktail that comes out on dry ice, and it's a whole just presentation. So we're starting off with shrimp cocktail. I'm probably getting a ribeye medium with my sides of the gnocchi.
I like that.
Okay.
We might get a Caesar salad to split. We might get a Caesar salad to split before the steak comes out.
Right.
Okay.
And then we're getting the gnocchi and probably a vegetable of sorts. But the sides are shareable, so it's not like that's all for me.
Right.
And then maybe we're getting some key lime pie, and then we're having cocktails, 2 likely because we don't do more than 2 ladies. It's not safe.
Okay.
And
like
a glass of water for every cocktail. And that's dinner.
That's valid. I mean, it's definitely more than the 150 we talked about earlier. But
What
that's,
were we expecting her to say? What were you
expecting me to say? Caesar salad and that's it. Thanks for the good time.
Thank you. Caesar salad and some side.
Zero expectations. I just wanted to see what it would be like. Because again, women say one thing, right? Oh, I ain't gonna go to that much. I ain't gonna do that. But then they get there and that menu come out and they say, well, you know what? Yeah, let me get another cocktail. Let me get another this. You know what? Can we get how much is the bottle of the wine? Can I get the bottle of the?
Well, listen, if somebody wants to, if someone asks me, and this happens, if somebody asks me, do you want a bottle of champagne? Because they know that I like champagne and they know I love a certain type of champagne. I mean, if someone offers it, I'm going to say, are you going to have a glass or 2? And if they say no, it's just for you, I'll be like, no, I'll just have a glass. But if they're willing to split it, then I'll be like, yeah, let's get a bottle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's on them. I don't ask for it. Like I will go straight to the cocktail menu. 9 times out of 10, I'm going to the wine menu. And that's it. Yeah.
What's your choice of wine that you want?
My choice of wine. So it's summertime. So I like a great, very seasonal, very seasonal. So I'm going to start with, especially if I'm doing the shrimp cocktail and the Caesar salad, I'm going to start with a nice little Sauvignon Blanc. And then if we're doing the ribeye, I'm going to go to a Pinot Noir.
Copy.
Or like a Tempranillo.
And then are we having desserts or are we cool on the
key lime pie?
Oh, key lime pie. Gotcha. You did say
no
that.
whip.
Okay.
That's it. And so at Mastro's, that's going to be, if you're ordering your stuff, that's going to be about a $300 meal.
Easy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Easy.
But at Garden Grace, that might be $175 to $250, depending on, I mean, their champagne pours are a little weak, but
it's just Garden Grace.
Garden Grace.
Garden Grace.
Yeah, take her there. It's intimate. It's, nice downtown. It's ballet. It's sexy.
I might go tonight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I might go tonight.
I think you'll like it.
It's nice.
The gnocchi is amazing there too, because the way our eyes rolled in the back of our head when we had that first bite of the gnocchi.
Yeah,
like a nice little truffle gnocchi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Noted.
Not that we eat, but we
eat. You should see us in the gym.
You see us. You see us.
He sees us.
I mean, I wouldn't say work. They be complaining the whole time. What? Complaining the whole time. Shout out to Jackie, by the way.
Shout out to Jackie.
They be complaining the whole time.
We love Jackie.
Jackie be on their ass, boy.
She do. Oh my God.
Let's go. We got too much talking. Come on, let's go.
Too much talking. She be on our ass.
I mean, it's a full-time job for her.
It is definitely. She hates it. But we love her. We love her. Okay. So how do you think social media has impacted relationships? And I know you guys had an episode and you talked about this, like where guys just have an overinflated sense of like what they're able to pull on social media based off of social media. And then how do you think that has affected the landscape of modern relationships? And what challenges does it prevent for men in particular? Because I know a lot of these social media and IG models look one way on IG because you're only posting the good. And we talk about this all the time.
Right.
Like social media only gets the good.
Don't believe what you see.
They don't get the real life.
Right.
So
Watch
like,
that face.
How do you think that's impacting men and how you guys date these days?
Good question.
I think it presents issues of false sense of reality. Especially now, you're able to follow whoever you want, and then sometimes you don't even try. It'll just come up on your page. And with today, there are a lot of women who expose themselves a little more than they would do in the past.
Here we go. Come on. Here we go.
This is my bag.
I already know.
Get in it.
So naturally though, like as a man, y'all know we visual creatures. So if I'm looking at something and you half naked or you showing something I like, yeah, I'm gonna follow. Then I'm a follow. First, he may look at your profile and he's scrolling down. Okay, this is what she posts. So yeah, I'm gonna like it. I'm gonna double tap or whatever. Some women who are within reach, of course, he gonna extend a DM and try to set something up. I mean, a man is gonna only go after what's advertised. So it kind of waters the game down a little bit because shout out to my boy Illa, he say you got the good woman standing too close to the hose. And so without kind of holding them accountable, you have the everyday woman, the 9-to-5 women, the entrepreneurs or whatever, good women, but they're championing the things that the hoes would do or dress similar to how the women would do because they feel that that's what the men like because that's what we double tap, that's what we follow.
That's what gets the attention.
So in their mind, they like, I gotta be like that to get the attention from men when that's really not the case. But men only gon' double tap and like and holler at what's advertised. Like if you low key, it's not too much of a chance a man really gonna try to approach you on some, trying to fly stuff or I'm just trying to take you out and hit and do things like that. So the women just standing too close to each other. If you are a great woman, a wholesome woman, and you want you to find you a good man, standing too close to the hoes, baby.
That's a lot to unpack, baby. That's a lot to hey, look, AC.
The way he was like wanted to jump in like it was double dutch.
Because I already knew where my boy was going. I knew where he was going.
For you though, I got a different question for you.
Mm-hmm.
These men, are they out of their league sometimes for the type of women that they try to DM or think that they could get attention from? Because has social media just given them a false sense of like entitlement, security, whatever the case may be? Or confidence, yes. Thank you.
I think that a lot of men shoot out of their league regardless, whether it's online or whether it's offline, because the thing about women is that you can kind of earn their interest per se. Like say for instance, like what I mean by that, let's say that she looks at you and she's not really that attracted to you. You know what I'm saying? You're cool, but she's not attracted to you. But then you'll get engaged in a conversation.
She's a Corolla.
I ain't say that. It's his word. Come on. No. What I'm saying is this though, is that she may see a dude who she doesn't have immediate interest in, but she can talk to him and he can make her laugh and he can be just a cool guy you look out for and things of that nature. And she may grow to like him. So because of that, a lot of dudes who y'all may consider out of that woman's league feel like they got a chance, right? But with men, it ain't like that, baby. Mm-hmm. If I look at you and I don't see my woman, it ain't happening. That's just period. It ain't. You could be the coolest person in the world. You can give me the best advice, make me laugh, all that.
You said if a man look at a woman and doesn't see that's my woman,
correct?
Then that's it.
He's moving
correct.
on.
Are you sure about that?
You don't think like she could grow on him?
No.
You don't think that if a man sees a woman on social media and she's scantily clad and he's attracted to her and he's average, you don't think like he has like, oh, I'm gonna just reach out to her and see what happens if he has like let's say he has some pictures on his IG with like his muscles out and his shirt off.
Right.
Like you don't think that gives him like a false sense of security to be like, I could just reach out to any woman on here and see what happens.
I would say that like even if he reaches out to that woman, like because intentions are important. We have to establish intention. We can't speak as if this is in a vacuum. That ain't the case. If I look at this woman and she's scantily clad, as you say, I have one intention with her. Right. So that's what I mean by if I look at you and I don't see my woman, you will never be my woman. I don't care how you look. Now that doesn't mean I'm not going to engage. We might not kick you. We might not have a little sex here there. But in terms of you being my woman, being elevated to that position, it'll never happen. You see what I'm saying? You can't earn that spot with a man. That's what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
but what's up?
You're saying okay. Yeah. All right. Move on.
Look at her ready to argue. She ready to argue.
Y'all should have gave me this cup. Y'all should have gave me this cup.
You were like, that's my woman. And to OT's point, but she's dressed like a hoe, but she's not a hoe.
Then he don't see her as his woman. That's what I'm saying. Like men make that distinction very quickly within 5 minutes. I could unquestionably.
So real quick, what can a man see that could be like, okay, this is my woman?
Ladies, listen up.
Yes, listen. What are some of the things that a man can see and or identify on a woman's social media page that would make him think that's my woman?
How invested is she in attention from just random guys? You see, like somebody that would be my woman, she's not reaching for attention. Somebody who's online scantily clad, I like that phrase, by the way.
You're
Scantily
welcome.
clad. I'm going to have to take that one. Scantily clad, right? She's looking for attention from anybody, right? So aura, presentation, how you present yourself. Like, do you have a certain sway? Like y'all, for example, y'all move with a certain elegance, a certain grace, a certain I am reserved. For a specific type of man.
For everybody.
Right. In comparison to a woman who I'm like, Jesus. There we go. Okay. Scared me a little bit, right? Thought I was shooting this.
Y'all were scared, right?
Bro, too. He said, oh, shit. But yeah, so I mean, it's a certain presentation, it's a certain elegance, it's a certain, I'm not for everybody, I'm off limits. You're gonna have to have T's crossed and I's dotted before you know what I'm saying, you even come my way. That's somebody that we would see, okay, yeah, that's somebody that would be my woman. In comparison to a chick who's scantily clad, I could just leave a heart eye emoji in her DM and she going. Or I could just crack a little joke here, there, or maybe reference, say she working out in the gym. Hey man, it's a nice set. You do something simple like that, and she just give you a lot of rhythm in return. It's like she easily accessible. Going back to access that we was talking about earlier. So access kind of determines how we view you, and we can tell that within 5 minutes, quickly, very quickly.
And some men don't even mind being tricked. Like, you can kind of lie to me on the cool. Like, if you out there, but you don't present yourself like you out there, that's different. Maybe I can go that route because you're not telling everybody or presenting yourself like you for everybody, even though you may be low key with it. Like, he would still entertain that versus you just openly being out there with your stuff.
Because again, like, men hold their woman on such high of a pedestal, and sometimes it's an unfair pedestal. Sometimes I'm willing to admit, accountability does work both ways. But we hold y'all on such high of a pedestal to where things like that is just like, when I'm with you, I want to feel a sense of accomplishment for getting you. I want to feel a sense of privilege for being with you. But if you are just readily available to anybody, I don't feel that. And because of that, I can only put you in the category to where it's just sex, but you would never be my woman. I don't care what you say, because even if, let's say you find God, turn your life around, right? Programming, that is a part of you. Now, you may be able to hide it, you may be able to finesse it for a little bit, but that your yearning for attention ain't something that just go away. That's innate. That's in you. You see what I'm saying?
Healing.
That might be daddy issues.
That might be trauma. That could be a lot of different things. Why women get on social media and show their bodies. So I'm of the era. We both are of the era of like the 90s, where it's just Halle Berry, Jasmine Guy, just a lot of just real natural.
Prestigious.
So you made a point that you know, now women who are just regular women who work regular jobs, who have, you know, careers and are entrepreneurs, are now trying to align themselves with the thoughts, right? By showing their body and dressing. So the standard of beauty, I feel like, has changed over, you know, the last, I don't know, 30 years. Don't quote me, it's the champagne shop. But I think it's unfair to say that it's wrong for women who are educated and who are, you know, entrepreneurs to show their body the same as, you know, the women who are seeking attention. Like, you don't think that is a woman's body her choice? Or you don't think that maybe it's just the signs of the times that we live in? Do you think it's just times are different? It
is her choice. And the funny thing is, y'all have created this environment.
How so?
Like, we haven't said y'all should go out there naked, just like, no.
But y'all like that.
We double tap it, but we don't want to marry that.
Hard it don't mean we like it.
We don't want to marry that, and that's the difference.
Like, right?
Context is important.
Okay.
We are intrigued by that.
That's it. Yeah.
We don't necessarily like it.
And it's social media. Yeah, it's made for a like, right? I'm supporting. You posted a nude or have naked. I'm supporting.
All women
that's all day
accountable
too.
for that, then you shouldn't be liking it. You shouldn't be engaging in the culture that promotes it.
But
right?
Nudes.
Oh, I don't know.
People post nudes
Basically.
on Instagram.
Talking about like,
Might as well
Somebody
be.
just scantily clad to the 10th.
I mean, toothpick string, you know what I'm saying? Barely cover the nipple, everything but the nipple, like that type of stuff.
but it's the culture. I mean, even artists, rappers, singers, actresses, it's the culture
That plays a
now
part
to
too.
show skin, right? So,
But they're artists, they get paid for that. You know
And
what I'm saying? You
also,
working at Chili's.
what?
They ain't at Garden Grace.
Okay, so let's say there's a woman.
But Instagram bad though.
Right. Right. Bad. Middle-aged woman.
Right.
30 in late 30s, early
Okay.
40s, never been married, successful, has like a business. But
What's
she's
wrong
not-
with her? No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
There you go.
Continue.
But she's not getting the attention that she wants from a man. So she says, okay, well, maybe let me try a tactic that will get me maybe the attention that I desire. You're saying don't do it.
That's gonna attract the wrong men.
It's going to attract the wrong men. Okay.
That's doing the opposite of what you're really trying to do. If anything, hold on to what you're doing. That way you stand out versus the rest of them. Because that's what men look at. Again, we're social media now. So we going on pages. We exchange IG or whatever. So I'm scrolling. I'm trying to see, are you a family person? How much, do you have kids? You might have kids. Don't post them at all. You don't have not one post of anybody in your family. You haven't told nobody happy birthday. You don't have no friends. It's just all you on the beach or on the trip and you naked. So that's what I'm gonna assume of you because that's what you posted.
And here's another thing. Like there are ways to get that off.
Absolutely.
Right? There are subtle ways to get that off. Like there are some women online who are very skilled. Very, very skilled. It's subtle. You see what I'm saying? She ain't got them just out. She ain't got the ass just out. But she's wearing certain things and it's still elegant. It still might have a flowery top on the shoulder or something like that. But
it may
it's
have
sexy.
a sheer over the,
It's just elegant how she carry herself. She's posting pictures of
Listening to y'all describe it.
because we know y'all.
Because again, but it's that, and then it's just the cheap stuff, and it's kind of similar to a
That
man,
shit.
right? Like if a dude, right?
Shout out to shit.
That's real. But I mean, it's similar to a dude, right? Like it's cheap ways of showing off that he has money, right? I'm just with my cash on Instagram, throwing my shit around.
Right.
And then you got certain dudes who just of a certain sophistication. He may take a little video of him in first class just out the window or him with a, eating, but you see his watch.
It's
so
very
you see
subtle.
his,
It's very
it's
subtle.
That's what it's
I love
about.
that.
That's what it's about.
So again, it's ways to get that off. But we love that. And women, it's like that.
Yeah.
That puts
Subtle
it into
love
perspective.
subtle.
That's
Yes,
it.
it puts it into perspective.
That's why my ass is private on Instagram. I ain't doing that. You got to ask to have access to me.
You need to go ahead and go public.
No,
I go to the ego right there. I go to the ego.
Nothing.
I know.
You have
listen.
nothing to hide.
I have absolutely nothing to hide.
Exactly.
However, I also just don't want the randos having access. That creeps me out.
Okay, to each his own. So, in terms of DMs, so as married and committed men,
Right.
what do you do? What is the protocol when a woman slides into your DMs? You guys have 300 plus followers.
305 followers on
300,000
IG,
plus
500K on.
So that's a lot
600,
of
but
women.
that's
600 on TikTok.
That's neither here nor
600
there.
on TikTok. So
neither
y'all
nor
started
that's
late
like
on
a million
TikTok, too.
followers. Like
That's
through and through.
surge.
1 million followers. So I'm sure there's a lot of women who slide in because you guys are talking what women want to hear. You guys have it figured out.
Y'all be looking dead into the camera.
Looking dead into the camera. You're very sincere with it,
Ooh,
AC.
the voice. Come on,
Y'all-
talk about it.
So what do you do in that case when a woman slides into y'all's DM?
You gotta slide and then delete.
Okay.
I ain't see it.
What
I ain't
do
see
you?
it. I mean, but sometimes you don't know because it'll have. The funny thing is, like, I've dealt with this in a similar way, but just wasn't part. But like with personal training, I'm sure Jackie would be she familiar with it. But like women would like into my DM, want a training session, but really want more outside of that. So sometimes with the whole podcast of it, it'll start off with what you said was so real, Then they try to get into it, and it's like, I got to leave you on red now because you didn't, you know what I'm saying, deviated from what we was talking about. You know, so yeah, man, I've actually had a woman like just blow me up. They hit us in a group chat one time talking about something else, but like I had a woman like continuously blow me up for me to hang out with her, and I'm like, I'm good. I'm sorry, but she was so like devastated, like you turning me down, like in a sense. And I'm like,
she saw a life with you.
She's what? I mean,
she saw a future with you.
She was trying to send me pictures.
What?
She trying to FaceTime me through a little Instagram and her with showing the cleavage and stuff. I'm like,
whoever you are, baby, you're doing too
my
much.
phone down, like she looking at the ceiling because I'm not even really talking to her. Like it was,
you're doing too much.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, I try to, I ignore it. I mean,
just ignore, delete.
Yeah, it's low hanging fruit.
I mean, at the end of the day, man, like you gotta like context is important. Like you gotta realize what comes with this, and what comes with it is a lot of female attention. Now, if you're not used to that attention, then I can see how it can be a bit overwhelming, right? But if you are, then you kind of compartmentalize as you should. You see what I'm saying? Like I understand where it's coming from. It's not personal. She see the glow up. She see the litness. She see the beard or whatever the case may be. Or the voice.
Same beard, same tattoos.
Voice, same thing. You know what I mean? It's to say or the damn voice. They, your voice is just so soothing to me. Like that type of shit. You see what I'm saying? So it's like they be fascinated with just the like idea of you. And I think once you put it in that context, then it becomes easier to just like, okay. Okay, I see what you're on. But it is a slippery slope because those are your fans, you know, so you want to like give them some energy back. You see what I'm saying? Makes it like, I ain't just curving your ass, reading your shit. But with that, you run the risk of what he just said, like conversation will start off like, hey, I just need some advice. And it's like, all right, cool. I'm gonna entertain it.
Right. Yeah.
And she'll present the scenario. I give her the advice. Boom. And she just keep replying days on end. And then eventually it comes to it comes to like, if I just had a man like you, I wouldn't have these. It's like,
well, conversation over.
And conversation, like y'all are speaking to women from a place in which like a lot of women are just like desperate to be spoken to.
Right.
And so, and I don't mean like desperate in the form of Debbie Desperado, but like the state of affairs right now, as they will say, like there's piss in the dating pool.
Right.
So what you're saying and what you're advocating is very much in line with what women want to hear.
Yeah.
And so they look at you and they don't know your marital status. Maybe they do. They see the ring. They don't know that you're engaged or maybe you've shared that, but they're just like, I'm attracted to this person. I can see a connection with this person.
And they get infatuated.
Fandom is a real thing.
Yeah, it's a real thing. I mean, and they're disrespectful, even if they do know. I mean, I posted a whole video with my husband, and some bitch was on there was just like, "Oh, his beard," and like, "What?"
The audacity. The audacity.
My whole thing.
Bitch,
like,
why didn't you send it to me?
I know, bitch. You know, because you go so she goes too far. Like I'm very
she gonna press him.
You think she the one? You think she's the problem?
She's the one. I'm able to put everything into perspective.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not.
I'm not worried about no bitch or no hoe.
I get hot and bothered.
She's just like the disrespect.
Yeah,
I'm like, girl, calm down. Like we were in where were we? In Jamaica.
Oh yeah.
And some women were trying to calm us. And they were like, with the beard. They were like, come here. And she was just like, no, they will not. They were not looking like a beach whale. They were like, just.
A beach whale. I didn't call it a beach whale.
I was like,
I went too far.
She went far. And I was just,
it was about Marley.
Nicole, calm down.
It was about